incredible story, and I'm so excited to continue it with your partner, John. So John, next question is with you. You're a business executive with over 30 years of experience in various high technology companies, including Microsoft, and a CEO of a medical device manufacturer. Although you've been an avid real estate investor, buyer, seller throughout your entire career, why have you suddenly decided to become a real estate agent at this stage in your life and in this market?
Jeremy, there's a word in your question that I want to answer, and it's suddenly. Actually, I've been preparing for this for 30 years.
Amazing. Let's hear it.
I think God works upstream, and so although I haven't been a real estate agent for very long, I met Feisal. And God works upstream in our lives, and He's always preparing us, even though we don't know what's in store. But over 30 years, I built a career of leading people, building teams, building companies. And the thread there is serving your people.
Okay.
And so I was blessed to be able to build a portfolio of real estate investments, and I have experienced the spectrum of service from agents all over the country, from poor service to outstanding service. So this journey that I'm taking now formally into the real estate space was because timing had to be right. So at the apex of my career, I've been helping other CEOs and other companies build and do great and I've taught university classes on leadership. And we're at a point in our life where we wanted to settle down, my wife and I. And so we looked for a new house in Kirkland. This is where Feisal and I met. So yes, we bought a Merit home, not knowing that it was actually the last piece of the puzzle to take this step into real estate.
Wow.
So I believe that my skill sets were very transferable,
okay.
right? So building companies in the technology space, it was always about the people, right? So the first team that I ever worked with 30 years ago, I'm still in contact with. So it's very important that you leave an impact and you really have this reputation that you build over a lifetime.
Yes.
So it's very congruent to what you've already heard from a lot of our other panelists, and I think that's super important to be one that actually has a heart for people.
Yes.
So when I met Feisal, we had this synchrony. Okay, timing was right. I was interested in real estate. I had transferable skills. Then I just needed to have the right business plan. So with Feisal, that became the last piece. Of course, we didn't know each other prior.
Yeah.
So again, I didn't seek him out. He wasn't looking for me, but we met for the right reason. Mm-hmm. And then those three elements together, which is timing and having the right people and then having the right plan. So after buying the house, I actually called Feisal up. I said, look, I have an idea. Why don't we get together? Because I'm interested in doing real estate, but I think we can work really well together. It was an instant decision, right? Just
Wow.
like he described on his Merit journey. And it made a lot of sense because, I needed to learn the trade, so to speak.
Yeah.
And because of this market being the way it is, I wanted to have the ability to have an accelerated success.
Sure.
Which is to learn from someone who's really, really well versed in this craft, but also bring my sphere to this. So, I have the lexicon working with tech people and at the certain level of clients, but also all the way down to the first-time home buyer. We were talking about that being so important.
Sure.
All these elements together, I think, isn't a sudden decision.
No.
It was meant to be at this time.
Love it, love it. So, same kind of question. In Kirkland Bellevue, he's the man.
He is the man.
What made you believe or think that he would say yes to partnering with you?
I just knew it. I had this, it was a heart decision. And people that know me, Jeremy, will know that most of my decisions are not based on head decisions.
Right.
It's got to be an alignment between your head and heart. Taking a role to leave Microsoft to go run a company, that was not a very head decision. That was a very heart decision because I thought I can go and help this company.
Yeah.
It was never about the money. It
Sure.
was actually a drastic reduction, because sometimes you have to take steps back to go forward. And in fact, that's how I look at real estate. The money is not a motivator for me. In fact, it's serving people. I think doing great service, the dividend is remuneration,
Yeah.
right? And so when I met Feisal, we just, like I said, clicked. And when I proposed that, I didn't really think there was going to be a no answer. I just knew it was going to happen. It was this sense of confidence, because knowing that we were put together for a reason.
Sure.
That was bigger than me.
That's fantastic.
So,
You know, the thing that struck me about our initial conversation, beyond your confidence, was the fact that you said, you know, Jeremy, it comes down to needs versus wants.
Right.
And I haven't really needed things for quite some time.
right?
And I wanted this. And you sort of dove into how it was a pay reduction, but it was something that you would get to do, that you could wake up doing with someone that you like, you admire, you trust, but you also have an opportunity to really serve and help people.
That's right.
Which it sounds like more than just being an executive, you also used to have a consulting and coaching business as well.
That's right.
So would you mind diving into that a little bit?
Sure, it's very much a congruent thread, right? It is actually helping others to achieve where they want to go, wherever they are. Like, in real estate, it's meeting people where they are, right? We deal with people making some of the most important life decisions that they could be making.
Right.
How much of a sense of responsibility that I feel for that.
Yeah.
And it was just like I felt running a company. I'm responsible for hundreds of people,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
And I see the same satisfaction when I see success, not because of me, but because of what they do.
Sure.
And I think having a part in people's life journey is what I get the most satisfaction out of.
I love it. I love
And
it.
so, no matter what you do, the skills that you bring up, and we were talking about that earlier, it's being able to be skilled and putting into practice in the right team in the right way makes all kinds of sense to me.
And what's super exciting is that this just happened a few months ago, right?
Right, 4 months into
4
this.
months ago. So we'll definitely have to have you guys back and to sort of see where things are at a year from now or 2 years from now.
We'd love that.
Do you guys have any questions for John?
You know, I've got a quick question.
Okay.
So you mentioned you knew I was going to say yes. So I remember that night very distinctly. We were at Bottle and Bowl in downtown Kirkwood.
Yep.
And on the spot, at that table, before we left that day, I committed and said yes. Again, as you know, I also make the hard decisions.
Yep.
Did you know I was going to say yes right away?
No, I would say I didn't think you would be that responsive. In fact, I remember when I asked you for the meeting, you thought I was going to ask you about investment properties,
Right.
because he knew I had a lot of other real estate transactions. So he came prepared to talk about
Selling him a house.
another one, right? And then when I told him what I was thinking, I remember your face. You were very surprised.
Huh.
You were like, and then right after that.
Awesome. Another question actually for you. I'm going to
Sure.
crosstalk a little bit. Did you see this coming at all?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not at all, but so grateful. And like I said, whatever's meant to be will be. And so, just like he mentioned, I also believe that we were meant to cross paths. And that night at that meeting at Bottle and Bowl, I discovered the reason of why we met truly and how important that initial click was. And the fact that we did click, I saw a greater sign with that, which came pretty quick to the conclusion that yes, let's partner up and do this thing.
Amazing. So John,
Yes.
is selling real estate everything that you thought it would be?
It's a complicated answer that I'm going to give.
Let's hear it.
Because of my experience, I've seen the spectrum.
Sure.
So from not great to really outstanding. I knew I was going into a field where you would have many, many choices of people who you work with and a range of skill sets. So I was prepared for that. What I wasn't prepared for are some of the behaviors, if you will, that are still prevalent in the real estate space.
Okay.
You know, ethics and doing the right thing to me are they're non-negotiables.
Sure.
And already experienced some of maybe not so ethical and types of behaviors that you would question. Why do I want to work with that other person, or that transaction didn't go well? Because there were, you can tell when someone's out for the money versus when they're trying to do a great service. And that really was something that I was surprised to see still here, even in this market, that there's enough for everybody.
There is.
But there's this sense of scarcity, and some behaviors were about selfish versus giving. And so I was surprised by that. But overall, I think it's going to continue to be a lifelong learning, because even though I just started, I have a long way to go, and I'm just grateful to be able to be in this space. And we've done many transactions already in 4 months.
How many?
7.
Wow. So we're starting off strong.
We're going, and we have a great plan going into 21, so it should be a good future.
Fantastic. Well, super exciting, guys. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Wow.
So-
That's really cool. Thanks for sharing that from your heart. That's super.
Thanks.
Thanks. That's really cool.
Amazing. This is going so well. Thank you for that. You're up next, Sabrina.
Would be me now.
So due to what the moment is all about, we have a lot of mortgage lenders on the show, as well as agents, of course. And yet I've never asked anyone this particular question, which I'm really excited to ask you. In this highly competitive seller's market that we're in, where there are more pre-approved buyers in the market than there are homes for sale, what are you or Evergreen Home Loans doing to help your clients get their offers accepted?
That's a great question. We talked a little bit about that, before the show, and I'm really excited to be able to bring to the marketplace a program that Evergreen actually created a few years back, before COVID. So Evergreen created a program called Security Plus Seller Guarantee, and at the time, the program they offered to loan officers for us to be able to provide to our clients, our buyers, and to agents. We would underwrite the borrower's file completely. We'd give them 100% full underwrite. And that gave us the ability to go to the real estate agent and also to our client, the borrower, and say, you're 100% fully approved. And we're going to issue you a guarantee. So when you're presenting your offer to the listing agent with your agent, we're going to offer this guarantee, and we're going to give you $2,500, Mr. Seller, if your house doesn't close.
Wow.
So that was a great program. Many of us were using that, but it wasn't really super prevalent in the market at the time, 3 or 4 years ago. So fast forward, we come into play with COVID, and we put that product on hold for a while. We brought it back, and we discovered that in this marketplace, all of a sudden, we have multiple offers going in. And our corporate office and marketing came back and said, we want to put our loan officers in a position to have your buyer's agent and your borrowers be in the best position to get your offer accepted. People's hearts get broken. You write up an offer, and they really love this house, and the kids pick out their bedrooms, and then there's 16 offers, and you have to have highest and best by Friday at 6 o'clock, and then their hearts are broken. And then they start again, and we're talking with clients and relationships with realtors and trying to help the buyers and their client stay safe. And why would we do this again? So Evergreen really said, how can we really help put our loan officers, buyers, in a position to have their offers accepted? So this year they came out and said, we're going to have a $5,000 guarantee.
That's big.
So they really put their money where their mouth is. So it allows me to go to my clients and say, thank you, number one, for trusting me, and trusting me with this big financial purchase in your life. And we're going to be able to give you a position that your offer hopefully will be presented at the top of the list, because there will be many.
That's amazing. So when did this $5,000 or this $2,500 increase on top of the $2,500 start?
Just when we brought it back. They just rolled it out 3 weeks ago.
It's
just brand
recently.
new. Yep,
Wow.
they just rolled it out to us.
Okay, and so what are they doing to get the word out?
We have a program that's going to roll out for video. So we have videos on YouTube about it.
Nice.
Education really individually from loan officer to their referral partners that they're working with.
Absolutely.
So that we can get people, loan officers and realtors in the industry, excited about it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and I really hope that other loan officers and agents are excited about it, because I don't understand how it couldn't be as an agent. Why wouldn't it? You feel more confident in going, hey, I'm going to call up the listing agent and say, I have a guarantee. Are you interested in talking now, or do you want us to wait? till you're
Yes.
going to review offers.
Sure, sure.
So I'm super excited about it. I can't wait to talk more and more about it in the community.
That's amazing. I'd be pumped about that because I do remember a time when I was a mortgage lender 6-7 years ago. I had a backlog of 30 pre-approved buyers. I did my job, right? I did my job. I sold the client.
Yes.
They're excited. They're ready to go. Gathered all their documentation. Some of them were easy. Some of them were hard. And that's just money sitting there for you. And you know how badly they want to move them. Some of them are on timelines, and some of them aren't on timelines, and they're saying, look, if we can't get something soon, we might just hold off. And that's the last thing you want, right?
Sure.
And so I would imagine someone like yourself in this market, you probably have a backlog of
Lots of pre-approved
Lots of
buyers.
pre-approved buyers.
Because there's not enough houses in them.
There's not.
Yeah, so, and in a position where houses are getting bid up and bid up and bid up, it just helps, it will help immensely buyers' offers get better in a top position.
So is this something that's being offered company-wide, or is this something that they're starting off trying in a specific region?
No, it's company-wide.
Company-wide.
And when they rolled it out 5 years ago, they were doing the $2,500, they did a select region, and now it's company-wide. Everybody can take advantage of it.
That's a pretty big deal
Yeah.
because our industry is going through something right now where we have to work together
Yeah.
because our clients need all hands on deck because, it's a war out there for
Right.
reals.
Yeah.
People are paying way more than things are worth a lot of times, and they're
Yeah.
waiving contingencies and inspections, and anything you can do to help them, maybe keeping a contingency in there because their value is superior, their office superior, like this is significant things. I think it's really cool.
Thank you.
I think every mortgage industry has to figure out how to add value to the agents when they're making offers.
Yeah, and it really
I'm
helps.
calling them, begging them, trying to make them laugh, trying to stick out. So my client, John Smith, you're trying to make it because it's like it's a war. It's a war. So I think it's super cool.
I love that.
Yeah, for sure. So the agents that I work with real closely with are super excited about this program.
Okay.
And then it gives also them the ability to help their clients provide the documentation that I need
Yes.
from the clients.
That is
Because
so
really I
important.
have to have to make this program work,
Yeah.
the client has to understand that what an opportunity this is for them. And so it gets the agent involved also more with the onus of we're helping you, and as a team we can come together and we need this documentation from you so you can fit into this program.
That's incredible.
Because we absolutely have to have all the documentation, cross all the T's, dot all the I's to make it work.
Wonderful. So now that you have this tool in your tool belt, so to speak, what is your action plan from this point to sort of spread the word and make sure that everyone knows, A, about the program, and B, that they should come to you?
What is my action plan? That's a really great question. I was just talking about it with my assistant. So I do weekly lunches.
Okay.
So I guess I should back up. Before COVID and everybody being apart, I had a program that I called Power Hour. Some people call it Lunch and Learn. I call it Power Hour, and everybody had a binder, and then there was a little tool belt on the front of it. Every week, every month, you would come, and I'd give you more tools to put in your tool belt as an agent
Love it.
to help you create more relationships with buyers. Well, now I haven't had a Power Hour since last year in March. It was my last one. So we're going to develop a program where I'm going to do a Zoom luncheon.
Okay.
And I'm going to put up my Evite and say, here's the Zoom luncheon. And we haven't decided yet how we're going to get lunches or treats to those agents that have RSVP'd, but we're all going to come together during a Zoom and talk about the opportunity for the product.
That's fantastic.
So that's my first idea to get it out there.
Great idea. I
Yeah.
love
And
it.
then, of course, word of mouth and more coffee appointments now with agents and phone calls and video.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, we're
There you
going to
go.
have some video presentations for sure.
Perfect.
To do that.
That's all for me. Do you guys have any other additional questions?
I just wanted to say that I think that's an amazing program, and it really helps, I think, level the playing field a little bit more. When you have a 5% down buyer going up against a 20% down,
Right.
it can be very intimidating and daunting, and you think, you try to construct the offer the best way that you can, but you can only do what you can do. And so to have a program like that where you're guaranteed, you probably can close sooner, it really helps give,
one more thing.
yeah, it just gives them a fighting chance.
Yeah, and conversations I have with agents when I'm really hands-on, they're calling me and saying, okay, we're going to write up this offer. What do they need for closing costs? I'm like, is there taxes? What's the property taxes? Is it in a flood zone? Is it HOA? All the questions to ask to put it together. And the agent becomes knowledgeable about what's happening, and we just really are a team approach to help that become the best offer available. And do we need to close quickly? And this is really going to level the playing field there and put that person and that offer in a position if we can close quickly. And Mr. Seller, there's a guarantee. It's $5,000 we're saying we're going to give you.
Not a small amount of money.
No, it's not a small amount. So hopefully that will help. I like what you said, level the playing field for everybody to have an equal opportunity.
Well,
Right, and
amazing.
it gives those guys the opportunity to waive certain contingencies because they already have the guarantee. So now they can compete with even a cash offer, let alone 5% down versus 20%. So sounds like an amazing tool that a lot of buyers and agents alike can use to get their clients' homes. So that's awesome.
Thank you. I'm glad to hear you say that. Yeah.
It's very good. You know, in this industry, the last thing you want is an unwelcome surprise. And so that is a great tool to add another level of confidence in the transaction, because we only try to get people to be successful in purchasing a house.
Right.
And if it doesn't happen because something went sideways at the end, that's the worst it can be.
The worst.
Right, it is the worst. And it takes a little longer on the front, and that'll be part of education with agents, because we do have to collect all the documentation, and it does have to get underwritten, and then the underwriter may have some questions, and we have to get all that cleared up. But what a great tool to know that when we present that offer,
It's solid.
it's 100% solid.
This
I've
is a
already-
bigger deal than what she's saying, because the mortgage industry is doing about 10 times more business than it's ever done ever in history, maybe even more than that. And the capacity to pre-approve someone that doesn't have a contract when there's a backlog of contracts that exist is
Right.
challenging. Every company's trying to figure out how to pre-qual, how to give a better vote of confidence, how to make their clients stick out, because the mortgage space
Sure.
is overwhelmed with.
Extremely, right?
I mean,
And
even interest rates. I mean, I think the average producer did 50% more than they did in any other time ever.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
we went from like doing 3 trillion to 10 trillion. You know, like you're talking about significant numbers. So for the capacity to do a pre-underwrite, a company's got to be super committed to it, because it's a lot of sideways energy and sometimes it can be lost.
Yeah.
So the people who use it got to take it serious. The loan officer's got to take it serious. The company's got to take it serious. The realtor's got to take it serious, because it could be a time drain that can take from your quality.
Right, and the other cool piece that we can interject in there is that within that, we have a lock and shop program, so they can lock their interest rate for 90 days.
Oh, wow.
So right now, we're in a volatile market, and rates are going up. Every day, we're getting the call. Yeah, rates are back. We are back up, and they're looking at the market every day, and rates are going up every day. The call's coming, lock, 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 lock. Well, if I pre-approve somebody at 3%, and then now by the time they find a house, they're 3.5%, they may not qualify for that. So it's a lot of time spent on my half.
Sure.
And everybody's disappointed that now it's 3.5%, they don't qualify. So not only can we say we're going to do the seller guarantee for you, but let's go ahead and talk about locking in your interest rate now with an opportunity just to lock and shop, or an opportunity to lock and float down.
That's powerful.
It's really exciting. I'm elated for this year. And I do appreciate you saying that about what the market is right now in the industry and how over inundated it is, that we are slammed. I've never seen it like this. It's hard to wait in line to have your clients be underwritten, but that's the way that it is.
It's double the time of the normal underwriting. Sure.
Absolutely.
Because you got to go the ones that are real contracts first.
Sure.
Right, and that's how it works. And purchase business always comes first at a lender. So not that I have a lot of repeat clients that I refinance and help their families save money. And if they're saving $150 to $500 a month, some people. Refinances are important, but the purchase market is really, really important, because that's a contract. We say we're going to close in
Urgency.
30 days. That's a contract date, and our CEO says, that's a contract.
Yeah.
We're closing to that contract date, so we're going to close on time and do everything that we can. And so just more tools that they've brought to us in this industry right now, where we're really over inundated, is really exciting.
Awesome. Well, you guys, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this panel. Thank each of you for showing up. We've had a great time. I hope you enjoyed yourself as well, and we'll see you again next week.